Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel Dr. Sreenivas Medical Concepts and my FB page Dr. Sreenivas Concepts. This is Dr. Sreenivas, neurologist from Rajahmundry, Andhra Pradesh, India. I am also the medical author of the books Focused Neurology and Exam Oriented Clinical Neurology. My email is sreeklpm@gmail.com. We are continuing with the series of neuroimaging concepts. So today we are going to discuss the time of flight technique. Time of flight technique, neuroimaging concepts, part 14. Time of flight technique. CT angiography requires contrast administration. So when we do CT and we would like to visualize the vessels, we give contrast. So CT angiography requires contrast administration. But in comparison, MRI angiography can be performed without contrast using the time of flight technique. That is the major advantage of the time of flight technique, wherein we get to know about the vessels, the flow in the vessels, where there is obstruction or not, without even using contrast. By just following the flow of the blood, we can find out whether there is stenosis, whether there is occlusion, without using contrast. So this is the major advantage of this sequence, which we use it in MRI, known as time of flight technique. So it can visualize the vessels without using contrast on this MRI sequence, time of flight sequence. So in comparison to CT angiography, which requires contrast administration, MRI angiography can be performed without contrast using the time of flight technique. So this data can be reconstructed into an image that reflects flow related enhancement. So the signal obtained from time of flight MRA represents flow through the lumen of a vessel rather than the actual structure of the lumen of the vessel as obtained by contrast opacification. So in the time of flight technique, the signal obtained from the time of flight MRI represents flow through the lumen of a vessel rather than the actual structure of the lumen of the vessel as obtained by contrast opacification. So if we see this image, this is better appreciated. So this is the time of flight angiography. So you can see here how nicely the blood flow in the vessels are seen. So this is the time of flight sequence. So this is the 3D TOF angiography. It is a sequence that in which the signal of stationary, that is non-moving tissue, is suppressed. So only the moving tissue is seen, the non-moving tissue is suppressed. So what is that moving tissue? It is nothing but blood flow. So the moving, that is the mainly fast moving protons in the cerebral arteries, that is the blood, contribute to this image signal, that is the time of flight MRI angiography. So this is a 3D TOF angiography. It is a sequence that in which the signal of stationary or non-moving tissue is suppressed. So mainly the fast moving protons in the cerebral arteries contribute to this image signal. So this is the MRI angiography, TOF angiography. So the major advantage is that without using contrast, we can visualize the blood vessels well and interpret the various abnormalities of the cerebral blood vessels. So sometimes when we give contrast, it can cause adverse drug reactions, especially in persons suffering from renal failure. It can be disastrous. So this is a major advantage of TOF, wherein we need not give contrast, but we can really visualize the vessels well on the MRI sequence known as the time of flight angiography. So these are the important concepts of the time of flight sequence. The other important concepts of clinical neurology, especially exam oriented clinical neurology, I put it in a book called Exam Oriented Clinical Neurology. I'm the author, Dr. Sreenivas. If interested, this book could be purchased. This book will be very useful for students appearing for clinical neurology exams. The other important concepts of neurology I put in a book called Focused Neurology. I'm the author, Dr. Sreenivas. This book will be useful for students appearing for Viva and oral exams. This book is available online from all leading booksellers including Amazon. So if interested, this book could be purchased online from Amazon. I hope you have enjoyed listening to this time of flight MRI sequence. If you have enjoyed it, please share the link. But please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Sreenivas Medical Concepts, which is India's leading neurology educational YouTube channel, and also my FB page, Dr. Sreenivas Concepts. Thank you. Bye.